Good to go?
Good to go. Thank you.
We're recording, we're live?
We're live?
Okay.
Take one.
Yeah.
We're Robbie Price Racing. We're with Robbie Price, driver the number 21P, and we're just here to find out a little bit more about you, especially in the off season as it is. So tell us a little bit about where you live and how old you are, and then we'll ask some hard questions.
All right, I'm 26. I'm from Vancouver Island, British Columbia. I've moved down here now a couple years. Live actually with Greg Hamilton over right here in Mount Vernon, so not too far from the shop, and a nice little area.
It sure is. Family history in racing.
Both my grandfathers raced. My one grandfather ran some of the IDC and actually raced at Skagit a handful of times. Then my father raced. He ran pretty much everything. Then he ran a bunch of pavement sprint car stuff. Came down here and raced at Skagit a handful of times himself for a couple of years. And he had Chuck Hillier in one of his cars for a couple of years as well. And then I started racing quarter midgets at Langley Speedway. Moved on to the junior sprint at Denbing and just kind of done the ladder since then, up and around, down through California, and just kind of wide open since.
Wow. Your dad's actually running pavement now, isn't he?
Yep, yeah, he still runs probably 10 races a year. He took a little sabbatical there when I raced and focused on my racing with me. And then when I hit the road in 2019, he got bored and built himself another pavement car.
Good for him. How many races did you participate last year?
Last year, I think I was around the 40, 45 mark, which is actually pretty low for me over the past couple of years. So, but we were going for quality over quantity.
There you go. Do you remember the highest number?
I think I've raced 80 times in 1 year. Yeah, there was 1 year where we hit it pretty heavy.
And you mentioned you raced micros, and I know you did the midget at Chili Bowl. Is there anything you haven't raced that you'd like to race?
Not that I see happening. I mean, Silver Crown cars have always intrigued me, but I don't really see too much of that happening. I've ran a bunch of pavement sprint cars as well, and always end up watching the little 500 and stuff like that. But there's some stuff where I would be interested in doing, but at the end of the day, I know that it's probably a little bit of a pipe dream. So I'm pretty content with what I'm doing.
So stuck with dirt now?
Yeah, pretty much stuck. I jumped around 1 year in 2016. My father and his wife were pregnant there so they couldn't really go and race as much as we wanted, and I was still young to where I couldn't drive the hauler, and they didn't really want me taking off by myself. So I ran the full NSRA series that year for another outfit off the island, and then I kind of went away from the pavement stuff, and I probably ran 8 pavement races in the last 5 or 6 years, just not very often.
Yeah, wingless?
No, I've never done it. I've done wingless micro sprints, but no wingless sprint cars.
Wow. Well, tell us about this beautiful car behind you.
Yeah.
How that came about.
Yeah, so I'm hooked up with a Robbie Layton. They're also from Vancouver Island, where I'm from. It started off a couple years ago when I was running my own stuff, or my family stuff, on the ACS National Tour. They came aboard as sponsors, and then it's just kind of snowballed from there. They were really good sponsors for the first couple of years, and then they helped me out with the 7S sides deal for the Outlaw Tour. And then when that kind of deal kind of came to an end, we were kind of both sitting around, and we talked about other opportunities I had. There was a couple of people that I talked to about racing for, and the East Coast and kind of in Ohio and stuff like that, but nothing really sparked my interest. I wasn't super excited over a bunch of stuff, and then he's like, why don't we just start our own deal again? And I said, man, I would love to. My dad was kind of ready to step away at the time, and we struck a deal where he bought out a bunch of my dad's stuff that he had left over, and then we just kind of snowballed from there. It came around, we went to Chili Bowl last year, and then talked about it, went to lunch, and then it's like, okay, I got home, and I was like, okay, I got to order cars, I got to order parts, and it was kind of a last minute deal as far as behind the 8 ball and ordering stuff. And then obviously throughout the summer and everything like that, we've just kind of built a team, and we're sitting pretty good now with cars and motors, and just nice, decent stuff. I mean, it's really good stuff. He kind of gives me freedom on what I want to run and what kind of stuff I want to run, brands and everything like that. So, I mean, Rob and Lee have done a lot for me in the last couple of years, and man, it's a gravy deal.
Wow. I've never asked this question, but do you have like a manager or an agent, or do you do this
No,
all
it's,
yourself?
yeah, one-man band for the most part. My stepmom runs some of the Facebook stuff, and then there's a guy from Saratoga Speedway that also runs some of the Facebook stuff. That's only been within the last year or so. Like when I went racing on the road, it was me and one other dude most of the time, so I used to always get, a hard time about my social media stuff being a little downside, not too, didn't post too much and everything like that, but I always told everybody I was working on the race car or, driving the truck, or just kind of worrying about more of the day-to-day stuff than the internet stuff, which is kind of probably the wrong idea nowadays, the way things go. But yeah, I do a lot of it by myself, and then I also have a good group of guys that come up during the summer. We have shop night and everything like that, and we come up, it turns into basically just a barbecue every week, and mount some tires, wash the truck and trailer. But as far as everything else goes, it's kind of all my deal.
Wow. You have a home track.
Skagit.
All
Skagit
right.
would be my home track, yeah.
So talking about the time that you've spent at Skagit racing, what's your first memory there?
Probably racing with my dad there. He raced, like I said, for a handful of years there, and we'd go down and I'd help him. We'd race Deming Friday night and then go to Skagit Saturday, and it was me and a bunch of my little friends. He looked like a six-pack movie there. It was me and all my 12-year-old buddies being his crew.
All right. What's your biggest highlight of racing there?
Probably Dirt Cup 2019. That's probably the biggest highlight. I've won a championship there as well, and then this last year being able to win a 410 race there was pretty special as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you could change something about Skagit, what would it be?
I don't know. I would just race more, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 times a week. But I know that I know that's a lot to ask for. But that's probably pretty much it. I'm pretty happy with the way things are going right now.
All right. Notebooks. I know car owners have notebooks, drivers have notebooks. How do you blend them?
I don't know. I try and keep up with it as much as I can, and then it's hard. I mean, I got a decent notebook, but again, I get distracted and focus on other stuff and don't probably write down as much as I should. But I've been trying to do. The older I get, the more note keeping I do.
Good to refer back to.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Talking about sponsors, are you looking for any type of sponsor for your car this season?
No, I mean, just kind of where I'm at right now is everybody that's on the car. I got a really good group of core people with who I have with Shark and Malhat, Jeff and Renee also from Vancouver Island, and then I have a friend of mine, Elton from Alaska, that helps out, and then Grinders Automotive and Marine right here in town helps out a bunch too. And then, Rob and Lee obviously help out a ton. So
Yeah.
everybody that I kind of got on there right now, it's all been friends, and I've really, grown good relationships with them. And I didn't really have to go and hunt too much. It's hard. I have a hard time asking people for money. It usually ends up me, BSing with them, or they come down and hang out after the races, and it kind of turns into a more friendship type deal than they usually offer. But there's always room on the car. I can make room for anybody.
You build those relationships that become partnerships.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it boils down to, yeah.
So, Robbie Price, what is one of your racing strengths?
My strengths? I don't know. Oh, that's tough. I don't
You
know.
say pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm a pretty calm person. That's probably one of them, yeah. I don't try not to get too fired up about anything and just stay calm in the car and try not to overreact and try not to yell at people and freak out. So I'm pretty calm and collected, and I know that most of the people around me are volunteers, so I got to remember that, and there's no sense in yelling people that are there to spend their hobby and their time and money to come help me do my hobby. So I try to stay as calm as possible. It's probably a good point.
So you say hobby, but when you were on the road, that was a job,
Yeah,
right?
no, it was a hobby for a little while, then it was a living for a little while, and now it's kind of, I do have a day job now, so it's kind of back to the hobby type deal. But again, I probably work over here more than I do over at my job, so it's not much of one.
It's a good balance.
Yeah, that's right.
So fans, when they come up to you after the races, what's the most often asked question?
Can I sit in the car usually? It's
Really?
usually
Young and old?
No, usually young.
Yeah.
I'm a little slim for some of the fans. They come down, they peek in and say, I don't think so. But a lot of kids. I mean, I remember being at Skagit when I was a kid, and I'd go around and ask people to sit in their car and everything like that, and it's cool. So I try and remember that every time, even if I have a bad night, that, you know, at one point in time I was that kid asking for autographs and everything like that. So try and stay just open mind about it, and, you know, they're spending their money to come watch me race. So at the end of the day, you got to try and take care of them as much as you can.
You're making race fans for yourself,
Yeah.
like maybe a race driver in the future.
Exactly, yeah. Like I said, I remember walking up and down the pits afterwards and hanging out and asking people for autographs. I remember when we pitted in the infield and everybody parked the haulers up on the grass and all that. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of childhood memories there that I try and, you know, make an impression on who's there now.
Awesome. So there's a bench over there, and anybody could sit on that bench with you to bench race. Who would you pick?
That's a tough one. I was really fortunate when I was racing for Sides that he was so well renowned, I guess, of people knowing him and everything like that. So I've met a lot of my heroes and had cool conversations with them, and, you know, just interacted with a lot of people that I thought was really cool. And man, I don't know if I could pick anybody.
Yeah.
It'd be, I
Like
feel
your
like,
grandpa's.
yeah, no, my one grandpa, he passed away before I could even meet him, so that would be cool.
Yeah, for sure. What are the hardest questions for you to share when asked?
I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty open book.
Pretty open?
Yeah.
Nothing get emotional? Or...
No, I'll answer any sort of question that comes my way.
Well, that's good. What would you tell a younger you if you could?
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know. He's pretty hard-headed, so I don't know if I could tell him much.
Is there one day in your racing career that you'll never forget?
I think there's a lot that I probably would never forget. There's so many ups and downs in the sport, so I think everything, you know, you got good impressions and you got bad impressions, so I think that there's a lot there that probably will stick with me the rest of my life.
You learn from something.
Yeah, you'll get a lot of educational nights.
Yeah. So, what was it like living on the road, doing it as a living? Is that something that you would do again if the opportunity arises?
If the right opportunity came around, yeah. You know, trying to compete at that level, you know, now that I've been out there, you know what it needs to be and what it takes and everything like that. And it's just, I'm at the point now where I don't want to go up and feel like, you know, you know, I don't want to go there and feel like not waste my time, but like a tough road to hoe where I'm already behind the 8 ball. But, you know, I enjoyed it. I would still do it if the right opportunity came around, but one of these days I'll probably have to grow up and do something productive.
Like buy a house with a picket fence?
Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe an apartment.
There you go, condo.
Yeah.
So I imagine wherever you go, almost probably throughout the country, you've got fans. You've got somebody that watched you race before, or they're from Washington and they want to check in with you. Is that what you find after the races?
There's a lot of people that, you know, that I've ran into and had conversations with and everything like that. It's cool, and it's crazy how many people you see that you know are from one area and you'll run across them in another area. So that's a really cool part of the thing. They say, oh, hey, do you remember me? I'm so-and-so from wherever. And it's like, I do. I vaguely do. I don't know if I know your name, but I recognize the face. So
awesome.
Yeah, no, it's a really cool experience for sure.
So 20 years from now, you might be racing still, but would you be a car owner?
I don't know. That's a tough one. I'd be involved, I think. I don't know if I'd be an owner. I'd probably be involved, yeah.
Yeah.
Involved somehow. I enjoy it a lot, so it's kind of, it's the sickness you can't get rid of is what everybody says. So
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty well infected with it.
Well, we hope you aren't cured by it.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So I know you mentioned a lot of people who have helped you and stuff. Is there some shout outs you want to give to certain people that do support you? Maybe not as a sponsor, but just that support that you can call up and use as a sounding board.
Yeah, there's a laundry list of people that, you know, have helped me out, been really influenced, you know, in my career and my life and everything like that. Obviously, Mark and Debbie Houston took me under their wings so long ago now, so that would probably be a huge one. I would probably wouldn't be here without them, as far as helping me or mentoring me, or he's the guy I'd call when I have issues with my dad, and when we'd be arguing, I'd call him for advice about it. So it was really cool. I mean, I obviously am still around them 24/7. So I would probably have to say that they were probably the biggest, probably still to this day, a huge part of me.
cool. Have you and your dad raced at the same time on the track?
No, we were supposed to. We're supposed to in Vegas this year on the pavement, and then I kind of bowed out of it when part of the event got canceled. So there's a couple races up at Saratoga this summer that we were talking about, but I don't know.
That'd be a huge thing.
Yeah, it'd be huge. It'd either go really well or really bad. Yeah.
Wow. Well, what will 2025 bring? Do you have a schedule out that anybody can follow, or?
Just stay tuned to the Facebook page for the most part. Like I said, I'm not the greatest on having a plan or updating or anything like that. So that's Rob's very schedule oriented with his business and everything like that, and I'm not so much schedule oriented. I'm more of a fly-by-day type person. So he's been whipping me into shape a little bit. But we plan on going down to Vegas and running with the high limit for the first little while.
That's next month, right?
Yep. And then through California a little bit, and then come back up here for season opener.
April 26th.
April 26th.
Wow. Well, we wish you the very, very best of luck this season, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people following you, and I'm sure you have Facebook. Do you do Instagram and Twitter, Snapchat,
No,
anything like
pretty
that?
much just the Facebook page is
Okay.
probably the best way to keep track of us.
And that's Robbie Price
Robbie Price
Racing.
Racing, yep,
All right.
correct.
Cool. Well, best of luck to you, Robbie.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for spending time with us
Thank
today.
you.